Before you have weight loss surgery, you do have to go through 6 months of therapy. They want to make sure that you get the surgery simply because it's something you want to do and nothing that somebody else is making you do. You have to have a support system with you to even leave the hospital. And 3, they just want to check for mental illnesses to see if you can figure out what even caused you to have weight issues. My problem with food is I get joy simply taking a bite of food. It's like the second some food hit my tongue, I get happy. I start to feel good. So before you know it, I'm just biting, chewing, eating. So because of the surgery restricting me being able to eat, I no longer can do that. So I no longer feel joy eating food. I should have got some mayo or something. I got the turkey wings with the rice, the macaroni and cheese, the cornbread, the lima beans, the yams, and I got some strawberry shortcake. Look at just how huge this little turkey wing was. I put mayonnaise on everything. My mouth already watering. Take a little bite. A full video on YouTube of us spending this day out.
Too much media.
Welcome to Too Much Media.
Too much media.
Too much.
Have fun.
Too much media.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, this is a creative mastery channel. So we talk all things creativity, how to master yourself creatively to get to that next level in your life, you know, how to make sure that every aspect of your life can be improved and greater viewed upon based off your creativity and your mastery in it. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing, just do all the stuff so that way, you know, YouTube knows that people are actually here, that we're moving in the channel, that it's, you know, having some traction. And if you're returning, you know, I love y'all, you know, I fuck with y'all. Okay, love is a little heavy, but, and I'm kidding. What's love got to do with it? Anyway, today I wanted to make a follow-up video of my video on Princess D and the Butler family, and how I was calling her slow, and how I realized that that was what the real issue was with her, because I could never get down to the bottom of what it was about her, that I just didn't understand why she was doing a lot of the things that she was doing, right? And I rewatched that video, and although I was kind of quite amused with myself, and I thought that everything I said, not only did I not disagree with, but I actually thought I was hilarious in that video. I was cracking up re-listening to it. However, I did feel like I was a bit harsh on Princess, and I did feel like I didn't give a full, well-rounded scope of who she is and what she is, you know? Because in that video, it was more kind of like to kind of point out where my observation of her maybe being on the short bus, like, has the accuracy, you know? I was just kind of more like trying to point out, like, okay, like, here's evidence, you know, A through B, you know, here's all my evidence, this, that, and the third, you know? But one thing I realized after watching the video was this is a creative mastery channel, and we're supposed to use a lot of these lessons and a lot of these, you know, current day newses that I bring up to kind of learn from these people, to kind of get an opportunity to get their mistakes and not do them, or to see their successes and do those, you know, things like that. And I feel like I didn't do enough of pointing out where Princess is actually really intelligent and smart and able to kind of like get the success that she's able to get. Because whether or not we want to say all these things about Princess, it's like she has been able to find a level of success that a lot of people can't find on the internet. She's actually done a really good job at that. Now, whether or not she's going to be able to retain it, and whether or not she's going to be able to actually stay financially fruitful off of it with the way she's spending her money, that's another question as a whole, because we see a lot of people able to find social media success and able to find financial freedom through their social media success, and then they let it all go down the river. You know, look at Peach McInter or whatever, Peach McIter, something like that. This lady named Peach who keeps having kids, and she's gone broke in front of the internet like 12 times, but she's also run it back up like 12 times too. You know, but the mistake that she makes is she gambles, she spends, you know, like just frivolously. She just is irresponsible as a whole. And I noticed that with Princess as well, where I don't think she's that financially responsible, which is an issue where now you're going to question, whether or not she's going to be able to retain this social media financial freedom that she was able to get. So, but to speak on more of the side of how Princess has been able to kind of be successful at, getting a social media presence in the first place, I think that what we can point out by Princess is that she understands how to keep your audience engaged and how to keep your audience with the continuous content that you've always been doing. One thing that you have to notice about Princess is she did her recipe, she realized it worked, and she never changed it. That is vital for social media success and for creative success as a whole, is that when you're seeing like traction, when you're seeing movement and success in the way you're doing things, you need to keep doing it. You need to perfect it. You need to get better at it, right? And Princess done a great job of that, of noticing that people love her talking about making her meals. People love her talking about taking care of her stepdaughter. People love her talking about how obsessed she is with her man. And what did she do? She rode that to the moon. She went in on that type of content. She never stopped. She keep doing the same thing, and she just continues, And she also noticed that people loved her energy. A big part of why Princess is as successful as she is her energy, is her ability to always keep positive, is her ability to always have a happy spirit. I will have to say, regardless of anything I've said about Princess bad, it's like one of the things that keeps me watching her content is her joyousness. And everyone always talks about that in the comments. I think that's why it kind of hurts so much to watch her be clearly used and abused by the people around her. Like, in a way, it does sound like people are being mean to her on the internet. And she even says, like, she has baby girl talking about that, like, y'all need to stop bullying Princess on this internet and trolling her and this, and the third. But at the end of the day, many of the so-called trolls that Princess is encountering are her actual fans. And what it is like, it seems like trolling, but it's like, no, it's like genuine upsetness for her. It's a level of upsetness that we're feeling for her because she refuses to kind of do it herself. So we're kind of on some like, this guy is the worst ever. He's treating you bad. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. He doesn't love you in the way that we feel like you should be loved. Because at the end of the day, if you look at Princess, no one can deny this is like the happiest lady ever. The good, just kindest. Like, she does so much for everybody in her life. She's constantly cooking for them, offering them stuff, getting them gifts, being positive towards them. Like, one of the things with the little girl, for example, is that when she's with her mom, a lot of people say that the mom hates the little girl. A lot of people say that the mom bullies the little girl. The mom is not really that nice to the little girl. And kind of neglects the little girl. So when the little girl gets to her dad's house and she gets to spend time with Princess always spoiling the little girl. Princess always making the little girl feel so good about herself. Princess lets the little girl do whatever she wants. Princess just be always kind of like teaching her things, teaching her maybe stuff that she felt like was neglected in her own life when she was a kid. She's basically giving the little girl the childhood she never got to have, She even says in the video, she's like, yeah, and even though I wasn't feeling that good and I was actually kind of sad and stuff like that, and I was having a hard day, I just had to keep acting happy because I couldn't let baby girl see me down. Do you see like what level of like emotional intelligence? See, even though she might not have like all the social intelligence, I feel like Princess is highly emotionally intelligent. That's where her real superpower is, and that's where her real ability and like her star power lies. That's how she was able to become the success she's become today, And I feel like this is an important lesson for those of us who are trying to master creatively, of knowing where your superpower is, you know. Her superpower is emotional intelligence. She's able to give baby girl a type of life where she's like, oh, so she wanted to go try this out, so I took her there so she could try it out. Oh, she likes this food, so I always make sure that we have that food for her. Oh, she wants to do dance, so I always make sure that I sign her up for dance classes. Oh, baby girl was getting ready for school, so I'm teaching her right now. What we're learning is how to make her own breakfast, how to portion control some foods, how to put on perfume before you leave, you know, beauty hacks. She's always letting baby girl practice beauty regimes to make sure that she feels good about herself, that she's always in a positive spirit. She doesn't let baby girl have insecurities, you know, and in the future that's going to be very vital to whether or not. Okay, guys, I'm about to cross the street. So after I cross the street, I'll come back. To whether or not baby girl is able to kind of, you know, have the level of confidence to herself pursue her dreams, to herself go after things, to herself be successful in life and go and know who she is and things like that, you know? She's teaching her a lot of very vital lessons. And not only that, she's also giving like energy and hope to a lot of people who probably have had weight loss surgery or want to get weight loss surgery, or just see themselves in her as a whole, you know? And I think a lot of times with the internet, you end up kind of having to sacrifice yourself and be kind of like the brunt of a lot of people's, you know, attacks and brutality and stuff in order to, on the other hand, inspire and like uplift a lot of other people, you know? You have to like take all that on the chin. And I just felt as though when I was rewatching my other video, I didn't want it to come across as though I don't see where Princess is a success too. And where you guys can also don't look at her as a case of pity, because at the end of the day, she's done something that a lot of people don't know how to do. She's done something that a lot of people can't do, just plain can't, you know? And it's like wherever you find someone who is doing something that you shouldn't do, you can also find a lesson in that person and something that they're doing that you can't do, or that they're doing better than you. You know what I'm trying to say? And Princess does content better than 80% of people who are doing content. She genuinely does make the content entertaining. She genuinely does give a level of vulnerability in her life that makes it worth watching, you know? That level of like understanding creatively that people want that need that vulnerability in order for shows and entertainment to be good. I honestly feel as though if reality TV was smart, somebody would go get Princess. She generally could make a really good, damn big ass Jeep. She genuinely could make a really good reality TV show, you know? Like, she really could be that level of entertaining. Now, I do feel as though another reason I wanted to make this video is kind of to continue my series after the whole Ayesha Curry thing of like how women kind of let a man ruin their pursuits, you know, their future, their things that they like actually could do, and the level of which they could get in their career if they didn't have a leash on them, you know. And for Princess, for example, her issue is that she could be further without him only because I think like something that some people on the internet were saying, was that Princess is only hanging in there because she loves baby girl so much, that she loves the little girl so much that she's willing to put up with a lot just to keep her around, you know? And I do feel like that's probably partially true. Like, I feel like the level of which the closeness that her and the little girl have gotten to, that she genuinely feels like that's her daughter too, you know? She genuinely feels like she needs to be part of raising this little girl to become what she needs to become in her life. And I feel like a lot of times that's what ends up happening with women when, for example, men will have a child, and then when the child is supposed to be in their care, they always are gonna find another woman to take care of their child instead of like holding themselves responsible and doing it themselves, you know? It's not like he's never there and he doesn't take care of the little girl too, but it's just to say that he made sure that there was some sort of woman around too to be around the little girl, because he wasn't finna just sit around and take care of her by himself. And if it wasn't Princess, it was going to be some auntie, it was going to be some grandma, it was going to be a different girlfriend, side chick, something. It was going to be somebody. And Princess knew that, and she took both hands on the reins and she said, I got it. And I feel as though where her creativity is being stifled by this man is the fact that he keeps spending all her money. Every time she's trying to come up a little bit, every time she's trying to do something, instead of him being like, okay, you're starting to make a lot of money with social media, let me start learning about taxes. Let me start learning about how to be financially responsible. Let me start tightening up, hitting the gym harder so I could be in the best physical shape possible to be able to help you. You know what I'm trying to say? Let me stop playing so much video games. Let me stop, let me learn more about nutrition, because you just got weight loss surgery and we need to know what it takes for you to be able to upkeep the surgery. No. Instead, it seems to me that every single sign that she's trying to do something to upgrade her life, because a great way for Princess to kind of upgrade her content and continue with her content is for us to continue seeing improvement of oh yeah, I got weight loss surgery, y'all. Okay, now I've learned so much about nutrition and I eat healthy foods. Now I go to the gym, which she had started doing in the past. But lately I've noticed that a lot of her progress has been starting to backtrack. And I feel like he is directly responsible for it. I feel as though if you watch the videos, sometimes she'll want to eat something healthy and he'll be like, nah, I don't want to eat that. Or she'll be trying to save money and be like, delete DoorDash, stop trying to. Oh my God, let me stop. She's like, delete DoorDash. We don't need to be doing DoorDash anymore. We need to try to save some money. He'll be like, we should just DoorDash. We should just DoorDash. I don't want to go or whatever. She'll be trying to save money. He'll be like, I want a new car. I want new shoes. I want this. I want that. He's like another child. And a lot of times as a woman, if you're not careful, the man that you keep in your life ends up just becoming another child for you. They want you to be their mother too. He's basically like you over here babying baby girl, you better baby me too. Baby girl, baby bum. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like a thing where if you're not careful, he's starting to ruin her progress. We're starting to notice that she's eating a lot of unhealthy foods and processed foods that are causing her to gain weight. That with the stress, she could end up eating more than she needs to be eating because of stress, which is the original way that caused her to gain weight in the first place. She was talking about in a video how she had to go to therapy before she could get the weight loss surgery. And one of the things that she learned in her weight loss surgery was that a heavy part of why she gained weight in the first place is that she uses food as a coping mechanism for severe anxiety. They actually diagnosed her with severe anxiety. Now tell me if a man leeching on you and spending all your money down to the last coin isn't going to give you anxiety. Huh? If the man that you're always complimenting and trying to make feel good about himself never compliments you, always sly makes you feel insecure, always sly makes shady comments about you, always sly tries to kind of one up on you, shit on you, stuff like that, right? Tell me if that's not going to give you anxiety. Tell me if raising a man's child by your basically self, always being the main one worried about her, always being the main one doing things for her, always having to take the grunt of the emotional labor it takes to raise children, isn't going to give you anxiety. Because a lot of times people don't talk about that enough. If you're around children, you know this to be true, but it's never discussed enough. Children are the most emotionally draining people on the planet. They will suck every sense of joy you have in your body and take it for themselves and skip off into the sunset. That's all they know how to do, And as an adult, you need to just accept that and allow them to take your joy and skip off into the sunset and go try to find peace and tranquility somewhere else. When you're around children, you have to be so regulated as to not accidentally, for example, ruin their self-esteem, scar them forever, traumatize them. It's so easy to have a negative effect in a child's life in a way that can cause permanent damage, that you have to be so regulated when you're around them. And at the end of the day, we're all just a person, So if you're just a person, you too have moments where you're stressed and you want to scream. You're tired and you want to just sleep instead of play. You're, You're frustrated and you don't want to talk. But when you're around a child, you have to let all of that go and kind of understand it's not about you right now. And let the child have their happiness. And if that means that you put your frustration or your anxiety to the side to do what they want to do, or to not show them that how you feel, that's what you have to do a lot of times. And that's a very draining thing to do. That's part of the biggest reasons I stopped taking care of kids. I realized it was sucking me dry. I realized that I couldn't be the person I wanted to be if I was around them, That I had to become such a different version of myself in order to basically take care of them and stuff, that it was like making me so tired at the end of the day. And it's like they were little a lot of times, and I'm very physically fit, so the physical aspect of it wasn't even the draining part. Like, I can play in the park, I can, run with them, I could play sports with them, I could do all that stuff. That stuff didn't bother me. But the part where I had to constantly never yell at them, always try to stay happy with them, always be constantly teaching them a lesson, but in a way that is kind of calm and like can really get the point across. So constantly thinking like that. And then also constantly having to think one step ahead of them of like, oh, I know we're going here. This little nigga gonna try to run. I gotta stop him before he goes. Or I'm having to think so many steps ahead that it's like my mind is constantly in a workout of like, oh, I know they're not going to want to eat this. They're going to want to eat that. So if I don't get back to the house by this time, then that's going to be a problem. Okay, in order to get back to the house at this time, I can only let them play for about 20 minutes here. And then we have to go do this. And then I'm constantly having to think like that. Like, oh yeah, but then they're going to have to take a bath. So I need to make sure that this is done before I turn on the bath. So which order should I go in first? Okay, we should do bath first. Then I do this. Then I do that. So I'm constantly thinking. I'm constantly in thinking mode while at the same time watching them and trying to seem like I'm happy and seem like I'm just playing and I'm not thinking about anything else but what we're talking about, and what they're swearing is the most important anecdote that they have to tell me right now. Or like, you see what I'm trying to say? That's super draining, and nobody discusses that when it comes to kids. So the brunt of that type of labor, Princess is the one taking it on. He's definitely not the one thinking that many steps ahead and thinking about baby girl in that way and thinking about how to organize their day in that way, and the financial, and heavy on the financial aspect of it, always having to be on her. So it's like, what I've noticed with her having to take on all that is that it's starting to dysregulate her in such a way where she's starting to gain weight again. She's starting to neglect herself in the way of like taking time to exercise and go to the gym for herself. Like even in that clip where she's like, we haven't been to the gym in this much time. I feel like it's cheating to not go with you. And the friend is talking about some, Princess, I go twice a week with my man. It's like, do you see how her man is pushing her towards doing things that are going to advance her in life? Who is a man that is trying to encourage her to make sure she's staying physically fit? I feel as though the guy she's with is kind of encouraging bad habits because, for one, he's insecure and he wants her to feel insecure, and he's noticing her progress is starting to make her feel herself too much. And a lot of times men can be jealous of you. So it's like, oh, now she thinks she's gonna lose weight and start to think she's better than me, which I can't allow. You know? So it's a thing where now all of a sudden, he's like always encouraging. Every time she tries to eat a healthy meal, he wants to go get the most unhealthy thing. Anytime she's trying to save money, he's trying to make sure they spend more money. Anytime she's trying to, you know, just do anything that is going to actually improve her, he's finding a way to say that that's not what he wants. And he knows she's a people pleaser. He knows that she doesn't, you know, take into account her own needs as being more of a priority than his. And if you are going to be the type of person who gets to the point you want to get to in your creative mastery, that's the type of selfish you need to be. I'm here today to encourage you to be selfish, to encourage you to be that type of person who never takes no for an answer and who never allows anybody else's sabotage to work on you. Because you're going to notice the biggest person who's going to try to sabotage you are going to be the people who you allow to be the closest to you. And he's sabotaging her. He's trying to ruin her life, and she has a very far life to go, and to live. She could really be that girl and just be doing all the things, you know, if she allows herself to do it, you know. And that means possibly getting rid of him. Even if it hurts so much, she has to get rid of baby girl too. Even if baby girl has a good support system. She has a mom, she has a dad, she has family. Maybe if she's lucky, if she's smart and she makes a good relationship with the mom, her and the mom can work out some sort of program where once or twice a week she gets to spend some time with baby girl regardless, on the mom side of things. I'm sure the mom would be happy to do that because the mom has 2 other kids that, you know, she also has to take care of. So having someone to kind of take on some of the brunt of the load sometimes would definitely be something she's willing to do. But I genuinely don't see Princess making the strides and furthering herself the way that she wants to or the way that she could if she doesn't get rid of this man. He has to go.
Too much media.
Welcome to Too Much Media.
Tune in
Too much
to
media.
Too much.
Have fun.
Too much media.